Hello there. Today we have this broken Ford Focus that needs to be repaired, a big pile of tools, and, irritatingly, a rather painful shoulder that's making life difficult. So let's see how we get on. Welcome to CarSpyTV. So, the problem with this car is that the windscreen washer jets aren't working. So, when I operate the wand down here on the right of the steering wheel, water is supposed to spray all over the windscreen, but it isn't. And it's the same story on the back window. There's no water there either. Now, my gut feeling is that the electric pump that propels the water is broken and needs to be replaced. But let's not jump to conclusions. It could be various other things causing this issue. So let's just work the problem through step by step. Now, whenever something electrical goes wrong in a car, the first thing I do is check the fuse, and I can't hear the water pump spinning, so it could be that simple. And if it is, this is going to be a very short video. Now, this fuse box is behind the glove box, and we need number 47, and I'm going to test it with this circuit tester here, which you may have seen me use previously. So let's just put the circuit tester onto the first pin, and let's see if it lights up. Keep an eye on the screen just there. Yeah, there we go. That's lit up on that pin. And the second pin, yeah, see that? That's lit up on that pin as well, which means that fuse has not blown. Okay, so I think at this point the other potential culprits are the wand down here behind the steering wheel, the pump, of course, which is over there close to the offside wing, or indeed the wiring between the two. Either way, we need to now get to the pump and the wiring, and that means jacking up the car and taking off the wheel, which is not ideal when you have a knackered shoulder. Now, the pump is somewhere around here, which means to get to it we need to remove the plastic inner wheel arch liner, which is held in position by various T30 Torx bits. There's one of them. Can you see that? And we have another one of those there. We have some further in. There's one. There's another one down there, and it's a similar story over here on the other side. We also have one just under there, near the sill, and indeed, just for luck, some under here as well. Now, how many of these I need to remove to get the liner out of the way, or at least out of the way enough, I'm not sure yet, but let's have a go. Now, I'm going to get out as many of these bolts as possible with the drill to save myself a bit of effort. However, I think the drill's going to be too big to get to all of them, so I've got a manual ratchet for those. And also, I have heard a rumour that these bolts aren't all the same length. So in other words, it matters where they go back. So I don't lose track. I'm going to put them in this magnetic tray in a pattern that is reminiscent of what I see there in front of me. So I know where they go, in theory. Right. Right, well, let's see if I've removed all the bolts that need to be removed. Who knows at this point? Well, it's certainly loose. There's another bolt down there. Yep, I've missed a bolt, hang on. And there it is, over by the wheel. And this is the pattern I made for the bolts, so that they can go exactly back into the holes they came from. But I think this is actually superfluous because they are actually all the same length. Never mind. Now the line is out the way, we can see the water bottle, which is this white thing there, and that's got to be lowered down so that we can get to the pump that's connected to it. Now, as far as I can tell at this point, to lower it, we've got to, where's it gone? Undo that bolt there, and then the bottle continues all the way under here to about there, and there's another bolt there that needs to be undone, and I think there's also one at the top which I need to access from the engine bay. Let's do the one at the top first, because I think that will be easier long term, and it's underneath this black plastic panel, which itself is held down with these plastic screws which are a bit of a pain to get out. And if we lift that up, he says, down there we see a 10mm. Okay, I've also undone the 2 bolts that were holding the tank from underneath, and now we just need to get this filler pipe out the way, like so, and in theory there's nothing now stopping us from lowering that tank down, unless of course I've forgotten something. Alright, well, let's see. Wish me luck. Oh yeah. Now, I'm not sure how much water is in this thing. Quite a bit, I suspect. It's quite heavy. All kinds of cobwebs and muck coming down from here. Right. Now there's the pump, that black thing at the bottom of the tank, and I'm wondering if I should just take that off now and see if I can drain the tank, because it is a bit heavy and unmanageable. So how does that come out? Like this, I suppose. This could be about to get very wet. Hang on. There we go. Now, earlier in the video, I suggested the reason the windscreen washer jets aren't working could be the wand behind the steering wheel, the pump close to the wing, or indeed the wiring in between. And now we've got things apart, we can narrow that down. So let's have a closer look at what we have here. This, of course, is the pump, and the water goes into the pump there, and then it fires out these hoses at the back. And the pump is powered by this electrical connector here at the top, which I've already loosened. There we are. And at the other end of this wire is the wand behind the steering wheel. Now, what I'm going to do is take this multimeter, push the probes into the electrical connector, and simultaneously press the button on the wand in the car. Now, if at that point there's a reading on the multimeter, say 12 volts or thereabouts, that means electricity is getting to the electrical connector. That means in turn that the button on the wand is working and the wiring is working. And if those things are working, as I really, really hope they are, that means surely it's got to be the pump that needs replacing. So come on, let's have a go. So let's push the probes into the electrical connector, like so. Okay, now we're pressing the button in the car now. And there we are, we're reading more than 13 volts. So that's good, we're getting electrical power down here. It must surely be the pump. So now we need to remove these hoses from the back of the pump. And I've made a good start on them off camera because they were really stiff. Did not want to move at all initially. Okay, there's one, and there's two. And there is the broken pump. If only we had a new one. We do have a new one. Now, I bought this for £8.99 from a certain famous auction website. In fact, you could pay a little bit less, but I was more confident this one would fit, and it was only £1 or £2 more. And as we can see, it does look identical to the broken one. So let's see if it works. You'd better work. So let's do a provisional test. I've plugged the new pump into the electrical connector down there, and I'm going to just operate the switch on the wand here, and hopefully we'll get some sign of life. So Cross your fingers, let's have a look. You ready? Yes, we're in business. So I've installed the new pump now, and there it is. And the only slight complication was I had to chop the end of this hose off because it was split. There's the little bit I removed, nothing much. Oops, where have you gone? Oh, lost that forever. I've also put these various hoses and electrical connectors, cables rather, back where they're supposed to be sitting, so now I can lift the whole lot back up into the wing. Right, this is the moment of truth. We can test it. So ignition on, fingers crossed, and that's brilliant. Let's check the back window too. Oh yeah, that's working well. So now all we need to do is replace the wheel arch liner and of course the wheel itself. And while I do that, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV if you haven't already. Subscribing makes it easier to find my other content. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with a working shoulder. Bye for now.